So a video of Patriots wide receiver Stefon Diggs recently went viral where he could be seen on a boat giving ladies an unidentified pink substance, and some are worried this could be an illegal substance, which obviously could affect his standing with the NFL among other issues if this is found out to be true. Well, in today's video, I'm going to dive into this situation and process through what the heck could potentially be going on here, because there's more to this than meets the eye. I also want to talk about some QB battles going on from multiple teams as OTAs kick off, some wide receiver holdouts, the best available free agent wide receivers, and more right after. Alright, first up, voluntary OTAs are officially underway, which means we are creeping closer and closer to the NFL season. Sorta. It's roughly 100 days away right now, so it's something at least, and you know we are getting close to football's return when we're already getting reports of Jameis Winston throwing picks at practice. That's right, apparently his first pass in 7-on-7s was an interception that he threw into a crowd of defenders. Honestly, I would expect nothing less from famous Jameis, one of the worst INTs you'll ever see on pass number 1, and then the most beautifully thrown ball for a 60-yard score with throw number 2. Such is the life of the Jameis Winston experience. Now, another report we got out of Giants practice is that second-year receiver Malik Nabers is dealing with a bit of a toe injury, and he's going to end up missing all of OTAs in order to rest up for training camp. Maybe this is nothing. Hopefully, that is the case, but what gives me some pause here is that Brian Daboll said this is an injury he's still rehabbing from last season and even college. That's not the greatest news in the world to hear, especially for Giants fans. I mean, Nabers did miss 2 games last year with a concussion, but he never missed any time due to a reported toe injury. Same goes for his time in college from what I can find. He had a shoulder injury in 2021, but it doesn't look like he's missed time because of a toe. Also, it was reported that he did not get any kind of surgery or procedure this offseason, for what that is worth. It's just kind of a weird situation to keep tabs on because toe injuries can be very annoying, especially for a wide receiver who's making sharp cuts. You like that, and breaking in and out of routes. The fact that it dates back to college is a little concerning, at least because it's been bothering him in some capacity, at least off and on, for years now. Hopefully, though, he's good to go for training camp and the regular season once that rolls around. It's unfortunate he can't be out there right now, though, because New York currently has a QB battle going down between Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and the newly drafted Jackson Dart. Winston may not be on the Cleveland Browns anymore, but they have an interesting 4-way QB battle of their own going on right now. And in case you were all wondering, ESPN Cleveland actually has an OTA's QB stat tracker up from today's practice because of this battle going down. You got Flacco, Shedeur Sanders, Kenny Pickett, and Dylan Gabriel all duking it out. Well, the only QB to throw an interception at this non-padded practice was Gabriel, while the only QB to not throw a touchdown was Pickett. Flacco was second from a statistical perspective, completing 9 of 14 passes for 1 touchdown, and Shedeur Sanders might have thrown the least amount of passes in this one, but he was 7 for 9 and had 3 touchdowns. Obviously, these don't mean much at all, but when you have a 4-way QB battle going on, tracking every stat matters, even if it's hilarious to look at initially. Kenny Pickett spoke to the media earlier today and said, of course it's a competition, but the media makes things out to be a bit more than it is. They are all friendly and pushing each other to be their best selves. I would think Flacco wins this battle to start things off, but he's far from safe to remain the starter throughout the entire season. And now we got to talk about this pretty crazy situation involving Stefon Diggs. He was seen on a yacht with Cardi B. Who cares? I didn't really care until this video surfaced of Stefon Diggs appearing to give a few ladies a pink substance. And he actually says in this video, I can't play it because Ja Rule is in the background, that's copyright, but he tells them, do not take all of it and then to come back and see me. I listened to it multiple times. That is exactly what he says. It says right here, do not take all of it. What he has been seen giving them is a pink bag of a substance that people aren't really sure what it is. So before I get into what it could be, it's all speculative. Adam Schefter, everybody reported about this. Patriots wide receiver Stefon Diggs was not present for today's voluntary OTAs, one day after a video of the wide receiver surfaced on social media in which he was on a boat and flashed an unidentified pink substance while surrounded by 3 women. Mike Vrabel, head coach of the Patriots, knows about this, and he said it's something we're aware of, and obviously we want to make great decisions on and off the field. Any conversations that I've had with Stefon will remain between him and I and the club. So he confirmed that he knows about it. He's been in communication with Diggs. Obviously, the 31-year-old wideout signed a massive 3-year, $69 million contract in March, and he's rehabilitating from the torn ACL. But what people are thinking this pink substance is TUSI, psychoactive substance with the nickname known as pink cocaine, a mixture of drugs, most commonly ketamine and MDMA. It's a street drug. It's not regulated. Basically, don't take it. It's not a great idea at all. That's what at least people are saying. A lot of people, a lot of comments saying bro pulled out a bag of TUSI on camera with impunity as if he's not on an NFL roster. All kinds of comments. That's definitely TUSI. Now, I will say this. There are also people saying, why would Stefon Diggs hand out TUSI right on camera when he knows somebody's going to post that on social media? He also could be seen basically looking at one point during this video at the camera. So he clearly knows somebody is filming. Not everything is adding up here, but this is just what's being speculated. You obviously need to let the process play out. It's not the best look, given that it's a pink substance, and it's kind of the rave right now talking about TUSI, aka pink cocaine, which doesn't actually have any cocaine in it. We will see what comes with this. If anything, I would assume he might behind the scenes be getting drug tested, but this could very well be something not serious at all as far as a substance or illegal substance is concerned. You got to let the details play out, but it was going around everywhere on social media, went viral. It's a very odd situation. Why would you risk your career, the big contract that you have with the Patriots? But that's why some are just countering saying, he knew he was on camera. So why would he be giving them something illegal, knowing this could get leaked and put on social media? The clap back to that is he literally said, don't take all of it. Come back and see me, meaning be careful with this stuff. You guys got to let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below and kind of where you stand with it right now as we wait official judgment until all the details play out. And the last thing I'm going to say before getting out of here is this could all be a publicity stunt for a Cardi B music video, because if you see this camera right here, at the end of one of the clips, they zoom out after all the partying is being shown and all that, and there's a guy filming with a camera that would look similar to mine that I would record for my ads or for a music video. I used to shoot music videos before doing YouTube. So this could very well be all fake and just a publicity stunt for a Cardi B video, or it was an accidental video that kind of went viral. But all of this could be not real and just in the land of make-believe for whatever Cardi B music video they are working on. I'm just throwing that out there as another possible scenario. Next up, another receiver who's rehabbing from an injury, albeit a much more serious one than the aforementioned Nabers, is Chris Godwin. He dislocated his ankle 7 games into the season after he was on pace for a career year. He already had 50 catches, nearly 600 yards, and 5 touchdowns in just 7 games, so it was definitely a bummer to see him go down. Still, though, that didn't stop the Buccaneers from giving him a 3-year, $66 million extension with $44 million of it guaranteed. It's a bit of a risk on their part, but I think that means they aren't concerned about any lingering effects of his ankle injury, even though head coach Todd Bowles gave a bit of an interesting answer yesterday about Godwin's progress. Before I get to what Bowles said, though, I thought it was interesting that this isn't the first time the Bucs have given Godwin a big extension during an offseason, that he was coming off of a season-ending injury. In 2021, he suffered a torn ACL and MCL late in the year, and they still handed him a 3-year, $60 million deal. That's honestly pretty respectable on their part, and he rewarded their faith in him with back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons following the injury. But how will his return look out there from his most current injury? Well, that obviously remains to be seen. Bucs head coach Todd Bowles was asked yesterday if he had any positive news on Godwin and his recovery, and his answer wasn't as optimistic as I thought it would be. When asked about the positive updates on Godwin, Bowles said, "Not really. He's working hard. He's coming around. We'll see more when we get to training camp. We're hopeful of week 1, and nothing's really changed. But if anyone can come back and play, it's going to be Chris." It was interesting to me that he said "not really" in response to him having any positive news about Godwin. As Adam Leviton pointed out, it would be very strange if they just handed him $44 million in guaranteed money without being confident in his health. So I'm not overly concerned by Bowles' answer at this point in time. Whether or not Godwin is fully ready for week 1, I assume he's going to play at some point this season, and they are pretty confident in that. Or again, why would they give him a 3-year extension with $44 million guaranteed? Similar to the Malik Nabers situation, this is definitely worth monitoring as we keep moving through the offseason. A look at the Bucs wide receiver room has me pretty excited. You've got Mike Evans, sure he's about to be 32, and his days as a top receiver are likely coming to an end soon, but he's still an incredible receiver to have in that room. Then Godwin is a guy, obviously, they're going to be looking to carry the torch in that receiving room, along with their newly drafted first-round pick, Emeka Egbuka, who they took 19th overall in this year's draft. I'm super excited overall for that wide receiver room, plus they've got Jalen McMillan, who they drafted last year, and he really started to emerge towards the end of the year, catching 7 touchdowns in the last 5 games of the regular season. And with Baker Mayfield having a pretty good season himself last year, I expect the Bucs to be a contender, at least in regards to making the playoffs once again. Another receiver that isn't participating in OTAs is Scary Terry of the Washington Commanders. Unlike Nabers and Godwin, though, his is not injury-related at all. Instead, he's looking for a new contract as he's entering the final year of his current deal. This was to be expected. He wasn't at practice last week either for the same reason. If I had to put money on it, I think an extension does end up getting done here before the start of the regular season. He's coming off of his best year as a pro, after all. 82 catches, nearly 1,100 yards, and a career-high 13 scores. Sign me up. Their GM Adam Peters has been on record saying they want to get an extension worked out before week 1. So again, this should happen sooner rather than later. Spotrac has his projected contract at 3 years, $93 million, which would be a little over $31 million per year and would make him the 6th highest paid wideout in the league. Time will tell if he actually gets that much or not. He's about to be 30 years old in September, but he is also a team captain and Jaden Daniels' clear #1 target, so he definitely means a lot to that franchise. Sure, they did trade for Deebo Samuel, but McLaurin is still wide receiver 1 in my eyes regardless. Now, since we're talking about receivers here, there's a couple of interesting names still available out there in free agency for any team in need of help at wideout. At this point in the offseason, you're not going to be bringing in any kind of elite talent or anything like that, but these guys still have some gas left in the tank. The first is Amari Cooper. He was traded to the Bills in the middle of the season last year, and between his time with the Browns and Bills, he really had a down year production-wise, catching just 44 passes for 547 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's the lowest amount of catches, yards, and touchdowns he's ever had in a season in his entire 10-year career. He did miss a couple games with a wrist injury, then all the Bills starters rested week 18, so he missed 3 games total with that in mind. He is healthy now, though, for what that's worth, and while he's about to turn 31 years old in June, I would not be scared to sign him to a 1, maybe even a cheap 2-year deal, and here's why. He just went over 1,000 yards in 2022 and 2023 with the Cleveland Browns. It's not like it's been 5 years since he was a top receiver. And last year, yes, his numbers were way down, but the Browns QB situation was a train wreck, and that's putting it nicely. Deshaun Watson and the entire Browns offense was awful in the 6 games he played with them before getting traded to Buffalo. Then in his defense, it's hard to go to a brand new team halfway through the year and have everything click right away. He hardly saw any targets either, just 32 of them in 8 games before going out with that wrist injury. I don't know that he'll ever be a 1,000-yard receiver again, but I think he's worth taking a swing on for a team in need of quality wide receiver depth. Another guy who could help some teams out is Keenan Allen. He's even older than Cooper as he's 33, but he's proven that when on the field, he can be an impact player. He was with the Chargers for the first 11 years of his career before they surprisingly traded him to the Bears last offseason. He finished his career with the Chargers with the 2nd most catches and receiving yards in franchise history, behind only the undrafted free agent legend tight end Antonio Gates. As far as his year in Chicago, though, he actually led the team in receiving touchdowns and was 2nd in targets, catches, and receiving yards. He had 70 grabs for over 700 yards and 7 touchdowns. That's not bad at all for a number 2 receiver on what was literally the worst offense in football in terms of yards gained last season. That's exactly why I think he could fit in nicely somewhere as a 3rd option or maybe even the 2nd option depending on the team. Next up, it appears that we aren't the only ones who are sick of hearing about Aaron Rodgers. Former Steelers quarterback and legend Terry Bradshaw recently appeared on a radio show in Arkansas, and he did not hold back on his thoughts about his former team signing Rodgers. He dropped what may be the most hilarious quote of the year so far, saying the idea of signing Rodgers is a joke. Quote, "What are you going to do? Bring him in for 1 year? Are you kidding me? That guy needs to stay in California. Go somewhere and chew on bark and whisper to the gods out there." Well, it's safe to say he's not a fan of the potential incoming Rodgers experiment, and it's no surprise he would have such strong feelings about it considering he won 4 Super Bowls with the Steelers back in his heyday. I don't really have an update to the Rodgers situation, but if you're looking for that, make sure to check out my video from yesterday. That has what little updates we actually do have in regards to where he's most likely playing. I just really wanted to share that Bradshaw quote with you guys because it definitely gave me a good laugh. And with that, I'll see y'all next time.